Allow me to show you something.
Hi, and welcome back, to part 2 of day 3 of Southeast Asia DeFi Week. How's everyone doing? Okay, are you enjoying the evening so far, the week so far? Let us know in the comment section. How is everyone doing? We are right now. It is exactly 9 p.m. and we are broadcasting live from Asia Blockchain Center. Southeast Asia DeFi Week, is also made possible thanks to our many event partners, and you get to know each and every one of them, throughout this entire week. Now, before we begin, with tonight's session, let's see, we need to go and cover some very important disclaimers. Remember that none of the content shared, throughout Southeast Asia DeFi Week, should be treated as financial and investment advice. The reason why we are doing this is because DeFi is so fast moving, it's so new, and the last thing that we want is that good things be misrepresented in a poor way and people misthink, that DeFi is another round of what we've seen in the 2017 ICO craze. There are a lot of very important, meaningful developments exciting developments happening in DeFi, and the purpose of this entire program is to bring to you as many DeFi projects, and we're so happy that we have a plethora of the DeFi founders themselves to be with us for Southeast Asia DeFi Week. In the last 3 days, 2.5 days, we have covered a lot. We have covered Compound, Aave, money market protocols. You have learned about other different kinds of money Legos, like decentralized exchanges like Uniswap. You have learned different kinds of user interfaces like Instadap that allows you to do a lot of the things that normally you need coding skills to execute those transactions in DeFi. Instadap makes it really, really easy. This morning, okay, we covered OMC. We're sorry we couldn't. Sorry that Ren, okay, couldn't appear today. However, today, right now, we are going to talk about Keep, and I'm really excited to introduce to you our speaker. But before that, okay, remember, do stay to the end, okay, for instructions on how to win prizes. The top 10 best questions that you give, okay, to the speaker you potentially can win $10 worth of Keep tokens. And if you ask really, really good questions, we might actually, okay, give out more prizes as well. So, very quick introduction, okay, to what Keep is about. Keep, as I understand it, okay, Keep is one of those projects that is helping to bring Bitcoin into Ethereum via the TBTC project. Now, what is TBTC? TBTC is a decentralized way of creating a a redeemable Bitcoin-backed token. Now, in the first Southeast Asia DeFi week back in June, you saw we introduced wrapped Bitcoin, okay, and our friend from BitGo did an introduction, okay, of how they use a particular process to basically receive the deposits of Bitcoin taken care of by a centralized custodian called BitGo, and to mint the Bitcoin. Everything is transparent. Everything is still a-okay. However, one of the things that Keep is trying to do is to bring Bitcoin into Ethereum in a decentralized way. So basically, if you read the white paper of the TBTC white paper, what is very, very interesting and is quite cool. What they're trying to do is that they're basically trying to replace this, which is what normally would be required, the entire process that's required in order to verify, okay, that a Bitcoin has been received, okay, before being minted, and replace it with this, okay, into a decentralized distributed system where people, okay, more people, okay, can participate in the process. It is more geographically varied and secure. So I've been actually doing a lot of research on Keep, okay, because I'm really excited to actually see this come into fruition. How Keep does it, okay, is very interesting. So there's basically two things, okay, two major things that happen bringing Bitcoin, okay, into Ethereum. First, okay, somebody with Bitcoin who wants to basically access, okay, DeFi applications on the Ethereum network. They make a request, okay, to mint a TBTC token, okay, a new representation of the Bitcoin on the Ethereum network. And then what will happen is that by making this request, there is a network of random beacons that would select, okay, globally, okay, either a random person or random group of people to basically sign the transactions, okay, that the process of, yes, we received the Bitcoin. And in order to ensure that these random people can be trusted, they are required to put in ETH, okay, or Keep as collateral, so that there is something at stake to ensure that they are good actors, okay, to the ecosystem. And then finally, the TBTC is then minted. So, and right now, Keep is going through an incentivized testnet phase, okay, called Playing for Keeps, which it's currently still ongoing, okay, and I am very happy to have with us one of the core team members of the Keep project. Her name is Carolyn Reckhow. She's the head of business strategy there. Something very interesting that I read about Carolyn prior to this is that I learned that she was she was formerly one of the core people in Consensus, which is the blockchain development arm of the Ethereum ecosystem, and she was one of the early people there that grew the team from when it was just a handful of people to 800 over people, and she was also listed as one of the top 11 most influential women in the crypto space. So I'm very happy that she could join us. She's actually calling in from America today. Carolyn, thank you so much for being with us.
Hi there. Thanks, Jason, for having me. I appreciate it. And great job giving the overview of how TBTC works.
So the first question that I'd like to find out from you, is that you are formerly from Consensus. What made you get attracted to the Keep project?
Yeah, so I was at Consensus, like you mentioned, from the very early days for about 3 years, helped them grow up to almost 1,000 people. And then, after a lot of what we saw in 2017, early 2018, I decided that I wanted to learn another side of the crypto space. So I went and I joined a very early stage Bitcoin maximalist startup, Casa. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but Jameson Lopp, who's really big on Twitter, he's one of the leadership folks. And, I really enjoyed that experience. It was just getting back to basics, learning about the importance of security, resiliency, adversarial thinking, and just really thinking about individual sovereignty above all else. And I was with them, helped them build that up for a little over a year. But at the end of the day, I'm somebody that is really excited about technology. I'm a builder, you're not just a hodler second. So I decided I wanted to look back into the Ethereum space, but I still had this, definitely more of a Bitcoiner than I was before. So I was really lucky to meet Matt Luongo, who's the project lead for Keep and TBTC, and the entire team. And they had just started to work on TBTC at this point about a year ago. And it really excited me because it's just, bringing the best of these two blockchain worlds together. So that's how I got connected with the team.
The crypto space is like so huge, and there's so many people that in the space that we can learn from, and they are highly reputable, respectable people. Like you just mentioned Jameson Lopp. I follow him on crypto Twitter. However, a lot of people in Southeast Asia might not be familiar with these names. Can you just give a very 1 minute explanation of what actually Casa was and what this project was about?
Yeah, so Casa was, or it still is, it's a security startup focused on Bitcoin. And their primary product is a multi-sig product using hardware wallets. So multi-sig wallet is, instead of just having your one hardware wallet, you're having multi-signature. So you need several signatures. And in the case of Casa's product, you need several hardware wallets. So it was really building a self-sovereign way for regular people who own Bitcoin to make sure that it is as secure as possible while they're holding their own keys rather than trusting a centralized exchange with all of their Bitcoin.
So it sounds like you found something which is like best of both worlds in this project, in this Keep project, because you love Bitcoin, you love Ethereum. That's really, really great. I want to ask you next about the Keep project right now. So when I learned about Keep after I learned about TBTC first before learning about Keep, right? But when I went and read a little bit about Keep, it was described as a privacy solution And I couldn't make that link. Can you please elaborate, okay, on how is Keep a privacy solution?
Yes. So I'll zoom out a little bit and tell the story of Keep. So Matt Luongo and Corbin Pond, founders of Keep, wrote the white paper in, I think, 2017, and the idea was Keep is a way to store private data on public blockchains. So it's kind of a very broad idea, but essentially what it is, the Keep network is it's a secure multi-party computation network privacy layer built on top of Ethereum. And it uses two things primarily, which you mentioned when you talked about TBTC. One is the random beacon. Yep, in TBTC, the way that works is that's used for signer selection. And then the second piece of technology is a threshold ECDSA signatures, which it's a privacy technology. And in the context of TBTC, that is, that's what the signer set is using instead of something like a multi-sig wallet lock. And so the connection really is, Matt and the team, they started to build this network, which is something that's actually very broadly useful for scaling, for cross-chain interoperability. There's a lot of use cases where you need these sorts of stores of data that's kept private, whether in the case of TBTC, that private data is a Bitcoin public key, or there could be future uses for this. Like, I think one of the ones that the team initially talked about was like healthcare data or private data that may be used in more of an enterprise setting. But that data still needs to be accessible on public chains, or else, why are we doing this? Kind of public blockchains is definitely the way to go. So at the end of the day, though, this sort of broad concept of the Keep network was a little too broad to capture the imagination of developers and to build a developer community around this. So that's why the team decided, well, why don't we build the first application ourselves on top of the Keep network to show people what's possible? And that's how TBTC came about. It's definitely a real need, with DeFi being so hot right now and Bitcoin being kind of the obvious thing to continue growing DeFi.
Right. So what you're saying really is that TBTC is just the first use case, okay, of what Keep can do, and it's not married. Okay, Keep is not married to just this one particular use case, and there's actually a lot of other things that can be done using Keep. What are the other kind of use cases that would require this random beacon, okay, random group of signers system?
Yes. So a lot of interesting things. One of the use cases that Matt likes to talk about is there's a lot of potential here for more general privacy applications. For example, it would be pretty easy to build a Bitcoin mixer that is similar to what you see on Ethereum with something like Tornado Cash. And actually, I think we've had a couple of hackathon projects start these projects. So doing that with Keep is actually, just from a privacy cryptographic perspective, much better than a lot of the traditional just plain Bitcoin mixers out there. There's also different ways that you can use the random beacon for gaming. I think we had the Pool Together guys are looking at Keep and using that for some of their lottery stuff. A lot of other use cases as well, like around private data, like a decentralized Sci-Hub. So many things you could think of.
All right. So let's talk more about TBTC right now. Okay, the existing use case that it's currently going through its test phase. So I think the first thing, okay, I'd like to ask the community, okay, is that let us know how many of you are right now aware of the Keep project and you're playing for Keeps, okay? Let us know in the comments. Second thing is keep those questions coming. Third thing I'd like to know is for the TBTC project, okay, as an example, there are two main components, which is the random beacon and uh, the network of ECDSA signers, right? So where does the Keep token come into play?
Yeah, great question. So the Keep token is a staking token. It's a work token. And so everybody that is participating on the Keep network holds Keep, right? So signers, all the signers in TBTC are running Keep nodes, right? They're validators, so to speak. We call them signers in the Keep network. Or for TBTC, we call them signers. And holding, right, those Keep tokens and staking generally, right, that prevents against Sybil attack. TBTC is a little bit different, where because we're dealing with Bitcoin, we're dealing with an asset that is, is very real. Keep is a new asset, right? It's only been out for a couple of months now. So that's why we designed the system in a way where ETH, signers also need to be bonded in ETH to participate in addition to Keep. So yeah, it's basic kind of proof of stake work token.
All right, so this is the interesting question, right? Okay, Keep as a work token. Now, to a lot of Asians, okay, that is kind of like out of this world, okay, because it sounds like, and I've spoken to some of my friends about this, okay, it sounds like you need to basically buy the privilege to work. Is that what it is? And what is the logic and the rationale behind that?
Yeah, so that makes some sense. I do think that there's a bit of a cultural divide around tokens and token uses. And so one of the ways that we think about this in terms of trying to compare us to some of the other projects out there is, I think, one way to look at it is, if you're familiar with Maker, you could roughly say that, TBTC is like DAI and Keep is like MKR. That's not a one-to-one because Keep doesn't have the governance rights that MKR does. A comparison that would be actually more accurate is thinking about Keep like the Cosmos token, like Atom, right? So that's an example where, just like what you said, Atom holders are the ones that are participating in the network, and they're staking and they're doing the work. And that was the design choice. The rationale around this is that we want our token holders to be active participants, and we want people to be staking, because if you're staking, you're earning rewards. You just have more skin in the game.
Right. Okay. I love two things about this. Okay. The first one is to just give a shout out back to what Robert Leshner, okay, said in the on the first day. Okay, is that this is a way of if we want to create a decentralized space where we don't need to trust, how we are able to trust someone, okay, who is geographically, we do not know where they are, we do not know what their financial background is, or what their status are, their intentions. All right, how do we ensure that they remain as good actors? Thus, is another example, okay, of by having a Keep as a work token, and because people need to get Keep in order to do the work, okay, it would ensure that they have a skin in the game, and they will do a good job in running their node. The second thing that I really like about this is when I first heard about this, it just sounds to me like this is the future of work. So what Keep is basically doing is that it is replacing the need for the intermediary, which is basically the central part, the middleman that actually does the verification work, and replacing it, okay, with independent nodes that are verifying, okay, the work. So, and that in a way can be a alternative source of income for those who know how to do it. Is that the correct way to
Yeah,
look at it?
that's definitely a perspective. And yeah, what you said, it sounds like what Robert said, definitely rings true for us as well. We want Keep to be as decentralized as possible. And that's why we're running these programs right at launch, playing for Keeps, where we're giving community members the chance to earn Keep. So if you're excited and you're doing good work staking on testnet, and you're doing good work helping the community stake, you're doing translations, writing guides, like, we're directly going to reward you as a team. And then, additionally with the TBTC stake drop, where a little bit later on, we're actually going to let folks who do not own any Keep just stake ETH and participate as signers in the TBTC network. And if you're out there and you're doing a good job and you're successfully staking for this stake drop period, you're going to earn Keep, and you're going to earn enough Keep to continue to be able to do this work on the network. And it really, all it takes is the ability to spin up a node and yeah, start staking and participating in the network.
So that is really cool, really cool. I kind of like guessed it, but for the first time I get to confirm, okay, with thanks so much, okay, for confirming it, because I it's so difficult, okay, to basically, when we are so decentralized, okay, to basically get it from the source. There's nothing like it right now. Okay, I'm enjoying myself right now, Carolyn. Thank you so much. So the next thing, okay, that I'd like to ask, okay, is where are we right now, okay, in the testnet, the testing phase. Now, I like to share this up on the screen, okay, because this is a slide which, let's see, oops, let's see. So these few slides, okay, was what, I think this was back in April, when Matt, okay, gave this presentation, and that's how I got to know about the project, okay, and I started playing for Keeps. It was around April this time, and the testnet was supposed to be until June, but right now it is still ongoing. For those who are not who are listening in and learning about Keep for the first time, okay, is this the case right now, Carolyn?
Yes. So the testnet, playing for Keeps, earning rewards for getting on testnet and staking, and also getting on testnet and testing out TBTC minting and redemption. We're running programs to reward participants with Keep for all of those things, and we've been running those since June, and we're going to continue to run those for the next couple of months, I would say, until we're live with the ETH only staking stake drop that I mentioned. So, I think in total for playing for Keeps, it's 6 months is what we had planned, and it's been about 3.
Okay, all right, okay. So the goal right now, okay, of giving Keeps, for playing for Keeps, is to not just incentivize people, but to help people to get used to this new, how do I say, normal, I would say, and to familiarize, okay, on how to start a node, maintain a node, okay, whether it's a random beacon node or ECDSA signing node. Can you explain a little bit about this slide, okay, where for the first 6 months, okay, people would need to stake their ETH first, okay, and then keep tokens comes later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Mhm.
the way that the TBTC system was designed initially was that, because this is a keep application, all keep applications require that you're a keep staker, that you're running, keep clients first, and you hold keep. And then to participate in TBTC, there is this additional ETH bond requirement. And what we decided to do with the stake drop, and this was really around trying to democratize and decentralize and get as many good community members and good, keep stakers in the long term as we could into the network. What we decided was that we were going to have this public distribution mechanism called a stake drop, where we had about 20% of the entire keep supply that we were holding for public distribution, and this is the main mechanism we decided to use. And so the way it will work is that once we do launch this stake drop, this ETH only staking is that anybody who has ETH, you don't need any keep at all, can come. You can run a node, and you can stake your ETH and participate as a TBTC signer in the TBTC system and earn keep rewards over a period of time. So there's a curve where it in maybe month 2 or 3 it kind of looks the best, and then it tapers down over the course of maybe about 18 to 24 months. Really
Right.
depends on kind of who comes in the beginning, but that's generally how it works. And once the stake drop is over, the goal is we've got a lot more community members, a lot more keep token holders that will continue to support the network.
It's really, really clever. One of the things that I enjoy learning, okay, is how projects, okay, design their token economics. I'm still very new at this, okay, to be honest, because all the projects, okay, are doing something different, okay. It's a mixture between game theory, okay, common knowledge, game theory, economics, human psychology. It's really fun. But one thing that I noticed, okay, is that it incentivizes people, okay, to early adopters, okay, the early movements. So so what you're saying, okay, is that for the first 6 months, okay, is where the distribution is the most, and then it starts to flatten out and taper off after 18 months. So we have a question, okay, from Yong, and I think from Malaysia, and I think that this probably sounds like he is already playing for keeps, because he is asking, is there a minimum amount of ETH to stake as an ECDSA signer to run a note on that? And is there a minimum to run a random beacon?
Yes. So in terms of on the keep side, running a random beacon, if you already have keep and you're participating in playing for keeps, you may have seen this, but the minimum stake is 100,000 keep just to get up and running on a node. But in terms of the stake drop and the ETH requirement, it's a little bit different. So there technically is no ETH amount required to stake and to participate, but because of the way the system works with signer selection, you're much more likely to get selected if you have the right amount of ETH, of course, to back these deposits, these Bitcoin deposits. And so the way that the Bitcoin deposits work is that you can have up to the largest is a 1 Bitcoin deposit, which with gas fees is honestly the most economical. So I imagine we'll see that the most. But you can go down. There's, I think, zero point 0.5 a Bitcoin, 0.25, and then 0.1 and 0.01. So
Right.
yeah, with on the ETH side, there's 3 signers per signer set, and each signer set is bonded 150% in collateral. So
Right.
let's say for 1 Bitcoin, there's 1.5x that amount worth in ETH that needs to be bonded. So honestly, I'd say about half of a Bitcoin's worth of ETH, it would get you the best results.
Right. Okay. Got it. So what you're saying is that the Bitcoin price right now is 11,000 US dollars. So if in order to help to sign, okay, you need to collateralize about maybe 16,000 US dollars worth of ETH in order to be selected, okay, for signing that. But there's an option, okay, people do have the option of minting 0.5 Bitcoin per se. So if people do that, then the minimum, okay, that you need to over collateralize is probably, it's probably about like 8,000 US dollars worth of ETH when you're running a node so that you get selected and you get to earn. We did not touch on this, okay? What are the incentives, okay? What are the benefits of actually running, okay, these random beacons or these ECDSA nodes?
Yeah, so we've talked about the stake drop and the keep subsidy that's going to be going on during this 18-month period. But additionally, outside of that, fees, a couple different types of fees. So one is just for running random beacon nodes, for running any nodes, you're rewarded in ETH and keep, right, with the stake drop. And then the additional one is acting as a signer in one of the signer sets per every TBTC deposit. There is, at the beginning, it's a very small fee that each Bitcoin depositor is paying to mint or redeem a deposit. And that that's 5 bips, basis points that would be going to the signer set. And, in the future, it could go up. But for now, we're just starting it low to try to bootstrap adoption.
All right. So there's another question from the audience. Okay, Stephen asked, how does one become a node? I think the answer to this question is play for keeps. There's a lot of documentation. There's a lot of guides. Okay, and right now it's in the testnet period, which means that you basically don't need to worry about gas fees and etc. because it's all testnet. You can get testnet coins and etc. Would you like to add anything to that, Carolyn?
Yeah, it's pretty accurate, and I'd recommend joining our Discord, which is chat.keep.network.
I'll add that into the group.
Amazing. And like Jason said, we've got a lot of guides, a lot of different languages, and there's a variety of ways to get going. There's some great guides that show you just the simplest path, right? Spinning up kind of DigitalOcean sorts of stuff. And we've got a lot of groups of our team members, but honestly, it's mostly our community. They've been really great in terms of helping newcomers get up and going and pointing them towards resources so they can start running their own nodes.
So one other question, okay, that I think that people are asking is that when playing for keeps, okay, and trying to mint TBTC, how does that look like? I think that there's right now a demo that you can show. Is that right? Can you give us the community a taste of how minting a TBTC looks like?
Yes, definitely. So we've got this demo here. Great, there it is, which is, it's a little bit out of date. You know how it is. And so the design is refreshed when this does come out. But basically I can hit play and I can walk you through what's happening here. So this is the implementation dApp that our team has built. The code is all open source. We've got something called tbtc.js, where if anybody wanted to build this minting flow, this minting experience into their DeFi dApp, you're available to do it. But this is what we built here. So it's pretty simple. cross Ethereum and Bitcoin chain. Here in the beginning, what you're doing is you're initiating a deposit. You're fetching a Bitcoin address by calling a signer set, and this is where you're calling a new federation of Keep Network signers, stakers, to form and come together. These are the 3 signers that are being selected by the random beacon. And what you're doing here is you're asking for a Bitcoin address. And the signers are generating a public key hash, right? This is all happening within the threshold ECDSA signer set. So there it is. You've got your hash, and you send in Bitcoin to that address, and you can really use any SegWit wallet. And this point here, it's confirming. And this is the part that takes a little bit of time after you pay that Bitcoin. What it's doing is it's waiting for 6 confirmations. And we skipped through that part because it takes a while. And then this last bit here is you're submitting the proof. This is the SPV proof. And this is just saying to the Ethereum chain that, yes, on the Bitcoin chain, that deposit did happen. Here's the proof. And there we go. Once it's complete, it's safe to mint TBTC. And at this point, you have TBTC in your wallet. So that's pretty much it. It's quite simple. It's kind of like a 3-step process. There's a few, in the current DApp, like obviously you've got to use MetaMask, but it's pretty simple.
Yes. So we have a few questions. Okay. So I think one of those people here I think this is a question from Thailand, and he's asking, okay, that when doing, okay, the testnet, right? A lot of people realize that there's only 100 test TBTC that can be minted. Is there a reason for that cap that was placed there?
Yes, that's a great question. So the on the test network, yeah. A reason. So I think that the reason why that we did that was to simulate actually what's going to happen in the first month when we launch TBTC on mainnet. So this is only going to be, there's only going to be a cap for 1 month. And this is, or that 100 bit TBTC cap is going to be in place for 1 month. And we did this for basically for safety purposes, for security purposes. I think some of you, if you're familiar with TBTC and you followed us since May, some of you may have known that we had a TBTC deposit pause back in May. And basically what happened is that we launched TBTC on mainnet for about 48 hours, then paused deposits after our internal team found an issue in the code. And this was way before there was any real Bitcoin in the system. There were no funds at risk. But we did make that pause. It was a little disappointing to have that false start, but ultimately we were really glad that happened when it did, because the pause gave us a chance to buckle down and really focus on having, over the past several months, multiple continuous security audits, strengthening our bounty programs, and having the community come on board like we're doing with the testnet and really pummel the system. And one of the things we decided to do, in addition to saying, okay, when we do launch, again, we're going to have this release candidate model, which is pretty rare for DeFi projects. You don't see that pretty often. And additionally, we're going to have this this graduated cap, where at least at first, the amount of TBTC that can be minted is limited, just to make sure that we're going slowly, that we're not following the traditional DeFi model of move fast and break things, just because we we want to make sure that Bitcoiners feel comfortable using this, and that's what we built this for.
We love our Bitcoin. There's only 21 million of Bitcoin. We have a question, okay, from Jim. Okay, as a node, would I be exposed as a money transmitter and be required to keep AML /KYC? This is a tough one.
This is a tough one. So I'll preface it by saying that, I'm not a lawyer. I cannot give you a legal opinion. And also, I think, everybody's in different jurisdictions here. But I will say, for us and for our team, largely in the United States, the legal opinion is that no, because this is a decentralized network, and you're participating, in a signer set in this. In this way that doesn't look anything like a money transmitter, that that would not apply.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, okay, we have a question from Vietnam, which I think is interesting. It's regarding, how is TBTC different, from the other would you describe TBTC as a synthetic asset?
It's a great question. So I guess the straightforward answer is no. At its face, I would not call it a synthetic, but it does have a synthetic backup, I guess, is how I would describe it. If there were malicious actors in the system, or something bad were to happen, and the way that works is that, what we call this is, I think the fancy term is a bonded multi-federated peg, right? So it's taking some of the federation part of the design from some of the more centralized pegs, like Liquid or like WBTC, where you actually have, like the real asset being held on chain, but we're just decentralizing those federations. So it's not just one company or one federation. Like with Liquid, I think it's 10 Bitcoin companies or something that have this federation. And what we're doing is we're having brand new federations spun up and making sure that those federations are bonded heavily in ETH. And what I mean when I say that it falls back to a synthetic is that, this is the way that we do slashing and deposit restitution with TBTC is that, let's say you've deposited some Bitcoin, and the signer sec, whatever, these folks with ETH, they're acting maliciously. They don't give your Bitcoin back. What happens is that all of the ETH that they are bonded with gets slashed, and that's not just a punitive slashing. We're taking that, we're buying TBTC, we're going to the market, and we're making that deposit whole again. So in that sense, you do. Because there is all of this collateral locked up, there is some aspect of a synthetic in there, but not in the traditional sense.
Right. Can you help? I was wondering whether this might, not be too difficult question, but it would definitely give a lot of clarity to the community because there's just so much out there. What is the difference, between, say, for example, TBTC? Now, you've explained TBTC very clearly, but how is it different from, say, RenBTC, SBTC, and PBTC?
Yeah, so let's see. I'm not 100% familiar with each of those different mechanism designs, and I think that I've seen some good analysis out there that shows, on all the different, factors like decentralization and, like, is it a synthetic, things like that shows where each of the projects are on a continuum. And I'd say that what differentiates from some of those other projects are a few things. One is that it is more on the more decentralized side rather than some of the others. Some of those others do have a model that looks a little bit closer to the federated model. The Keep network itself just makes the whole system more decentralized. I'd also say that some of the technology that we're using is a little bit more battle tested and validated in the cryptographic community. So for example, threshold ECDSA SIGs have been, there's been a lot of research and they've been used by, a lot of kind of novel, privacy
It is
stuff, but
okay. It is
it's
okay.
complex.
I think I apologize to you there. Okay, I think it was a bit of a stretch. Okay, it's just that I was hoping, okay, that you could help with that. But I do understand. Okay, there are so many different projects out there: PBTC, REMBTC, SBTC. Each of them, okay, have their own methods, okay, methodologies, and differentiations. Okay, totally get it. Not to worry, okay, to those, okay, who are listening in right now, we have synthetics coming in tomorrow, okay, we can learn more about SBTC, and we can then compare the differences between the two. So we have a couple more questions, okay. We have one question from Yeezy. Yeezy asks, okay, what's the biggest challenge, okay, that the team is going through right now, and how can we help?
Yeah, great question. So launching a new network, a new protocol it's definitely a big challenge. The team's been working on this for 3 years. And we just launched Keep, right, a couple of months ago. And I think how you guys can help is what we've already been talking about, right? All of our initiatives around distribution, playing for keeps, the stake drop. The reason why we're doing this is, it's because the network needs your help. It needs more stakers and community members. So, joining our Discord, chat.keep.network, and checking out how you can get involved in playing for keeps and in the stake drop that's our next big challenge, and how you guys can help.
So one of the things, okay, that I think that I would like to ask you is that, so playing for keeps, right? Okay, a lot of people are going to play for keeps, and what they're doing is that they're trying to mint, okay, the TBTC, all right? But that's not the only way to contribute, okay, to the thing. If there's one thing, okay, that you could give, okay, to the non-technical people, how else can they contribute, okay, to the project at this stage right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great question. So, if you're non-technical, that's okay. We've got a lot of opportunities for folks to contribute with content, right? Writing articles, writing guides. Also, if you're you speak another language besides English, we definitely want your help with translations. We want to get all of our materials out to as many communities as possible. And then also we've got some prizes out there for people who are contributing in a design or like marketing way. So there's a couple of channels in our Discord where you can interact directly with our design and marketing team for guidance there.
Right. So there's UX. Okay. So UX is definitely one of the areas that you guys can help. For those, okay, who are listening in from Vietnam, from Thailand, from Philippines, from Indonesia, Malaysia. Okay. I think that there's room for Malay guides. Okay. In this language. So there's a lot of opportunity here. So I hope that you found this, 1 hour session with Carolyn extremely valuable. Carolyn, thank you so much for being here. Is there anything, one last thing that you'd like to say, okay, to the Southeast Asia community, okay, before we say, before we end the session tonight, or in your case, this morning?
Yes, just that we'd love to have you guys in the community. Join our Discord, chat.keep.network, and like Jason said, there's a lot of room for Malay, Vietnamese, everything out there that everywhere you guys may come from, we definitely need your help. So don't be afraid to jump in and ask how you can help. Excited to chat with Southeast Asia DeFi Week, and Jason, I really appreciate you having me on.
Thank you so much, Carolyn. Have a good day. Where are you from right now, exactly?
I'm in New York City.
New York City, and it's exactly 12 hours difference, is it? It's right now 9:51 a.m. in the morning, right?
Yep.
All right. So thank you so much, Carolyn, for joining us. You have a great day, and we hope to see you more, okay, in the Southeast Asia. Bye.
Thanks, Jason.
So the so thank you, okay, everyone, for tuning in, okay, to today. Before we end the session, I would like to. Where's I got so many tabs on. Have you guys ever heard of the the saying that if you don't have at least 20 tabs on, you're not productive? Right, here we go. So before we end, okay, just like to give a shout out, okay, to some of our event partners who have been very helpful in making this Southeast Asia DeFi Week possible. Okay, the first one is Asia Blockchain Review. Asia Blockchain Review is probably one of the most comprehensive media platforms out there that give a very holistic, okay, view in terms of blockchain industry as a whole, with a focus of Asia. Do join their newsletter. They give very good regular updates about the events, about the news, the adoption, the use cases of blockchain, okay, not just in Southeast Asia, but in other parts of Asia as well. We also have another event partner called Super Crypto News. They are based in Singapore. They give very good coverage, okay, global news coverage on what's happening in the cryptocurrency space throughout the world. They also have a current rewards program going on right now. And how it basically works is that it rewards you for sharing their articles, for example. Every single day, what you need to do is you go to Super Crypto News, okay, the website, the official website, and sign up for an account. You will be receiving 10,000 Super Crypto News coins. I don't think these are cryptographic tokens yet. We'll see about that. But what you can do, okay, is that by contributing, okay, and helping them to share their posts and doing other kinds of actions, you can earn these points. And then you can claim really, really cool prizes like cameras, a MacBook Air, AirPods, a Ledger X, okay, and iPhones, and many, many more. So do check them out. And do be back, okay, tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be so action-packed, okay. I'm really excited for it. We have Synthetics, Kane, okay, one of the co-founders of Synthetics. We have Michael Egroff, okay, the founder of Curve Finance, joining us. And we have Fernando Martinelli at night, okay, at 9 p.m. So I'm really, really excited, okay, to bring them to Southeast Asia. Join us, okay, tomorrow, 3 p.m., same time, same place. Do fill in the feedback form for today. Here's the QR code. We're going to leave this on for about a minute, okay, for you to scan the QR code. Do put in, okay, give us the feedback, okay, let us know what you like about today, okay, where can we improve. And submit your best question, okay, and stand a chance to win $10 worth of Keep tokens. With that, okay, it's the end of another day of Southeast Asia DeFi Week. Okay, we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.